Well, welcome back to the Awakening Potential Show. It's your gateway to the extraordinary. I'm your host, Karen Rudolph, and I'm here to support you in stepping into your sassy confidence, your classy wisdom, and your bold, badassy brilliance. Because awakening your potential isn't just a moment, it's a movement. So here we dive into powerful stories, soul-stirring tools, and game-changing strategies that spark transformation in your life, in your work, and the world around you. So grab a notebook, open your heart, and let's light that inner spark. So today I'm excited to introduce my guest who embodies, really truly embodies the journey. And I'm really excited for this conversation with Samantha oh, forgive me, Giordano.
Giordano.
Is that correct?
Giordano, yes, that's okay. It happens
I can't
all the
say.
time.
Oh my I have a girlfriend. She pronounces it differently, but it's spelled so similarly that it's like my
Yeah.
mind is already focused out. At any rate, Samantha is the founder of Intuition Kicks, a luxury woman's sneaker brand, handcrafted in Italy and rooted in the power of intuition, manifestation, and mental wellness. I love that. After years of battling her own anxiety and depression, Samantha embarked on a personal journey of healing through therapy, spiritual practices, and self-discovery. Samantha, welcome. So great to
Thank
have you
you.
here.
I'm so
Really,
excited to be here.
as am I, because I read your bio and I'm like, how inspiring. But before we get into like where you are and what you're doing now, like where were you before? Obviously, let's put it into a bit of a context because obviously something happened and then
Mhm.
it triggered your anxiety, depression, whatever. And then your journey out of it into the inspiring person you are today. So like where were you years ago and what were you doing then?
Yeah. Where to begin? I I feel like I struggled with anxiety, depression my whole entire life, and I feel like I kind of didn't know. I did therapy and things like that, but I feel like I really started to hone in on what was going on when I was in my mid 20s, and I realized, like this is not normal behavior to have this like my mind was always racing and in this like cycle, and I thought that was normal, but my therapist was like, this is not how your brain should be working every day. And so I started taking medicines, and then I started going into the spiritual aspect where I started going to Reiki and meeting different spiritual coaches that really kind of helped me dig deeper into what was causing all of my anxiety. And it was really interesting to learn about your inner child and manifestation and my human design and all of these things that I kind of had no idea about because no one in my family really is spiritual at all. I feel like I'm the first woman in my family. I'm the oldest daughter, and I have a younger sister. But I feel like I never really knew what any of this was until I kind of met the right person that came into my life. And I think throughout my life, I've had different coaches come in at different points to help me figure out what's going on and kind of come up with a solution or work through stuff. And then the next thing would happen. So the biggest thing that happened a few years ago with me is I did get married to someone that I was with for 7 years, and we had a good relationship. It was safe. It was, I say, content. I feel like it wasn't, I'm always wanting to do better. And I just feel like as I grew in my spiritual journey and as a person, my ex wanted to kind of was okay with remaining the same. And that's okay for some people, but for me, it just wasn't something I wanted to continue. So when I ended up leaving that marriage is when all these things just completely changed. I was the heaviest I'd ever been. I lost 100 pounds. And right after pretty much a few months after we had broken up, which was really interesting to me because I worked out a lot. I'm very into movement and I feel like very creative when I'm in movement. And I would go to the doctors and be like, I can't lose weight or, something's happening. And they'd be like, well, all your test results are fine. And then, as I ended up leaving, things completely changed. And I feel like it was just my body was feeling safe and comfortable. And I just feel like it wasn't serving me. And so after that happened, I feel like I lost all this weight because it was just a life-changing experience and like just wasn't something that I should have continued. And my body let me know that. So, yeah.
Body is always talking, always. You know, even when we don't listen, it's going to constantly keep knocking upside your head until you finally go, whoa, okay, what's happening? And hopefully it's before burnout or stress or, which is the number one killer, or hopefully before the cancers and the
Mm,
diabetes and heart stuff begin happening, because it will happen if we don't address it and don't emote our emotions. And it
mm,
sounds like you were certainly on that journey. I really commend you for looking outside for the support, because we're not meant to be doing life alone.
yeah.
And it sounds like through that journey, you also created a new level of awakening. It's the hero's journey, which I hear and it's always the hero's journey where something happens and the teacher appears when the student's ready, which you did. And then
Mhm.
you stepped into your awakening, which is just absolutely amazing. And as a result of that, uh, what is something, let me ask you this, what is something that you believe that most people don't believe?
Mm. That I think everything is within you and that your power is inside you and you have to find certain ways to find that, but it's always there. It's not something you can externally find. It's something you have to work through and figure out to be able to find your power and your peace.
Right, absolutely. Great. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah.
One of the things I find inspiration for myself as well is, I'm always told by all of my mentors and coaches, and I journal all the time, that one of the things I keep hearing is meditate. And for me, and it seems like maybe for you, I used to be a spin instructor back in the day, and I was
I
in
love
great
spin.
right? But that for me was like what really centered me and grounded me, because I would go into a zone and, sitting going, doesn't always work for me. But was your spin class,
Yes.
uh, your meditation?
Absolutely. I found spin previously to leaving my marriage, but I feel like once I had left, all these ideas and things would come to me in my spin class. I thought of my new business idea, Intuition Kicks, in my spin class. I'll never forget it. I was in class and I thought of it and I had to like immediately, I hate being I would never be on my phone normally in a spin class, but like I had to write it in my notes because I was like, I'm gonna forget this. And it was moving my body is definitely something that helps me figure out things within me for sure. Yeah. Meditation is great. I love breath work. I actually got my breath work certification and my Reiki certification throughout my journey as well, because at one point I really wanted to help other women through breath work and Reiki, but I ended up kind of starting this sneaker company. But I feel like it can all intertwine as I go on and figure out what's happening in my journey.
It's always ongoing, isn't it?
Yeah,
But
exactly.
I'm really curious, and I'm so intrigued with your business, Intuition Kicks. Obviously, it has a spiritual context to it. The kicks, I'm asserting, is related to the sneaker brand itself.
Yeah.
But tell us more about it, like how it came to be, obviously in your spin class, but a little more about that, because it's just so fascinating, where you take your entrepreneurship, your space with the mental health, your intuition and spirituality.
Yeah, so I actually own another business that I've had. I started at 26 and it's selling commercial furniture. I'm an independent manufacturer's rep. So my dad's in the construction business. That's kind of how I got into that. And it was great and very fulfilling for a long time. But I feel like as I started changing as a person, I wanted to do something more purposeful and I was craving more and being more in alignment. So I had this gut feeling just constantly about, leaving my marriage or leaving my job or any of these situations. And that's kind of where the intuitive aspect came. And I love fashion. I went to school for fashion marketing. So I was thinking of how can I bring the spiritual mental health aspect to a brand, and I love sneakers. They're just a form of expression for me. And I haven't seen another brand out there that's creating all of that into a sneaker brand. So that's kind of how I came up with the intuition kicks. And there's each sneaker has a motivational quote in the insole. So when you step into your shoes, you get to read the quote. So it kind of gives you, that power throughout your day. And one of my mantras is be comfortable being uncomfortable because I feel like nothing happens unless you're really out of your comfort zone and wanting more in your life. So that's one of the sneakers. And then I
Love
also, intuition, and I don't know if you're into angel numbers, but the number 11 is hidden in my intuition logo and also is the number for intuition and manifestation. So I have a sneaker that actually has the 1111 on the side and then on the back. So when you're seeing someone wearing the sneakers, you see the 1111, which I think is really cool because that's a number I always see and a lot of people resonate with.
it. It
And each sneaker comes with a manifestation ritual. So I actually had custom tarot cards made. They're really beautiful. They're black with gold foil, and on the back is a step-by-step manifestation ritual to do before you put your shoes on. So it's really cool. It's me and a brand, I feel like. I've worked really hard to kind of like create things that have worked for me, and I want to share them with the world. And I really want this brand to be not just a moment, but a movement. I want other women to be in their intuition era, to follow their intuition, whatever that might be, and to step into their power with stepping in their kicks. So I'm really, really excited about it and can't wait for everyone to join the movement.
absolutely. I just love the concept of it.
Thank
So,
you.
are they walking shoes? Are they sneakers? Are they running sneakers? Like what are, or do you have like
They're
a,
they're fashion walking sneakers. They're made in Italy, which I love because I have my Italian background too. So that's really cool to have that piece as well. But yeah, they're more fashion sneakers. We have low tops right now, and they're very comfortable. I did a specific insole to help with the arch. And they're not just a fashion sneaker, they're a comfort sneaker, which a lot of people can't find in designer sneakers. So it's really nice to have that aspect. And we're coming out with a runner, which will be really great. We're coming out with a high top. So there will be and a slide. So there's going to be like a lot of different options for everyone. So not just having one option will be great. And I'm excited for that.
so I'm curious. Are you wearing one? Are you wearing one now?
I know not. I should have them on. I'm at
I
my
was
house, so
gonna
I'm like
say,
barefoot at the
if you
moment.
have one
But
handy, I'd love to see what it looks
yeah,
like.
I can absolutely show you. Hold on one
Yeah.
sec. So actually, these laces I bought on Amazon. These aren't the ones that come on it, but this is one of the sneakers. So it has the 11 here, the 11 on
Yeah.
the back. There's a really cool like thunderbolt impressed in it. And then this one has the quote, sometimes you win. And then the other one says, sometimes you learn. That was like one of my other quotes. So
I
um,
love that.
yeah,
I
and then this comes in another color. We have it in like a white with beige and just like a white sole. So it doesn't have to be this crazy style. This is more my style, but then I did one that was a neutral for others who don't want to be so bold every day. So
love that. I've never asked anybody on the show to ever get up and like go get something, but
I know
I
I
just
should
thought
probably have just worn them, but it's okay.
no, it's all no, no, it's all perfect because then I would have said, "Can you take one off and show us?" And that would have down instead.
Yeah.
So it's all perfect. It's all perfect. And for the listening audience, we're definitely going to have Samantha's contact information and the website and everything there for you to reach out and see her and get your own intuition
Yeah.
kicks. I love that. I actually had a sneaker once that my girls gave me for Christmas or one of the holidays, and on either one of the tongues, it had something similar. It was very inspirational, and
Oh,
they
cool.
finally wore out. Yeah, it was really. I took pictures of it and I started using it because they wore out after a while. But I started using it in social media. It's just,
Yeah, to show it.
here's
I love that.
so you never know, right? Repurpose everything.
Yeah.
Um, I just think it's so inspiring, and I'm really excited to go look at it. And
Yeah.
my sneakers are about to wear out because I do a lot of walking. And after my accident, I was told that my chances of walking were slim to none. And I'm like, watch me. And now it's
Mm,
like, nope, here I go. So, I'm not
I
running any
love
races
that.
at the moment, but it's the inspiration and those affirmations that keep, whether you keep them on your soles, whether you keep them in your heart, whether you keep them on your palm, or, some people do the bracelets, whatever
Yeah.
works, keep grounded in what inspires you the most. I can't really address that enough because your emotions are are linked to them for sure. So I love that. So are each of those sneakers, do they have different motivational, inspirational manifestations in there, or
So each
where are you?
style has a particular quote. I don't have just specific, like it just has each style has one, but eventually I would love to create an option on my website where you can actually customize your own quote that you can kind of change out what comes and you can put what you want to be in there. So that's definitely a goal for the future.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
Because I know I have my own, and boy, would that be like,
Yeah,
you
to
know,
really have that in your, to be able to step in that would be really cool and have your
right.
mantra.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what would you consider one of your natural gifts then? And how might you use it today?
I think my intuition has really become my biggest gift. I feel like for a long time I didn't listen to it, but as I get older and have like all these things happen to me, I think at the end of the day, my gut's never wrong. And I now everything I do, I go off of my intuition. I'm like, how does my gut feel right now? Does it feel good? Does it feel comfortable? And if it doesn't, let me look into that more and see why it's fighting with me about it. And yeah, so I would say my intuition is probably the best thing. And I love to share my story. I feel like a lot of people might not be able to do that or don't know how to do that. So for me, I want to be able to share that and hope it resonates with someone and that can help them on their healing journey and take the next step to being uncomfortable, but also making that the best thing that can happen to you.
Right. So here's my next question for you, because I am an intuitive and I'm also a
Yeah.
transformation empowerment coach as well. And I've always, for me, on my journey, I've always listened to my intuition until my marriage, right? Where it was like, turn it off, you're freaking me out. And then I lost my sense of self. And when I
Mm.
got divorced, I found myself again, but it was a long journey back because I didn't know what I was looking for. And did you were you always intuitive, or is that something that when you look for your spiritual awakening moments, was that something that then awakened after the fact?
I think I was always intuitive and I've had the gift, but I didn't know how to hone in on it. And I feel like when
Oh,
I was a child, I feel like I would have those gut moments and I just didn't know how to handle it or how to go about it. And then of course, in my marriage, you fall in love and things happen and you lead with your heart sometimes and not your gut or your head and then some things can change or I lead with my heart as well, but I feel like with love it's a little different. So I think what really brought me back to finding my true self is my spiritual healers and doing the breath work and the Reiki. Reiki has been such a life-changing thing for me. I feel like it helped me with like energetic blocks and reconnecting with my inner self and to be able to work with someone to help me with that has been really empowering for me.
yeah. I love all the work. I've done
Oh
all of the
yeah, I
work
mean,
myself.
there's so many things. I did equestrian healing as well.
Me too.
So yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I loved
I
it so much. That was actually like the one moment the horse had a vision of me, and that was kind of the clarity I needed to actually move forward and leaving my marriage. It was a crazy experience. So
I'm so glad you said that because it's come up now. And when things come up two or three times for me, I I pause and I'm at attention because before COVID, I have horses here in Sarasota, and I was doing a
Oh.
lot of trauma clearing alongside the horses. And the horses are so intuitive. I have one in particular, Truman, who was struck by lightning,
Oh my
survived. I
goodness.
have another one that was struck by lightning too, struck by lightning. And my spiritual mentor said to me, Karen, w like, when are you going to look up the meaning, the spiritual meaning of
Mm,
lightning? And I just took a deep breath and I said, because I already know what it means. And she laughed and she says, well, when are you going to step into it? And I was like, I don't want to be responsible for it. And she laughed some more and went, okay, let me know when you are. And if you look up the spiritual meaning of lightning strike, it's all about being a light bearer or a light in the world. And I went,
mm,
okay, I'll do that. But it was interesting because I partnered with Truman and he and I became catalysts for change in that moment. And he would literally, during every session I did in person, he would literally just drop his head. And it was as if he was taking it all in intuitively.
mm,
They would get the conversation, they would hear it, connecting with
yeah.
it. And then all of a sudden, when they were finished emoting or doing whatever they were doing during the clearing, he would all of a sudden like look up, shake it off, as if to say, give me my carrot, and off he would go. But he would stay there the whole entire time. It was amazing to be witness to that. And, I'm missing doing that. So now
I miss
I'm
that
thinking
too.
yeah, I'm thinking about re-upping that game because it was so much fun. And I've switched to doing it online. It's just not the same without him
Yeah.
presence.
And
So,
I love that the horse will take in everything that you're feeling and your emotions, but then just shakes it off, whether they make that like noise with their mouth or they just like
yeah,
literally shake it off and they're on to the next thing. And I think that's so courageous of them. And I love that they do that. I used to be scared of horses. It's so interesting. I never rid a horse, anything. And then I went to Montana in 2019 in the fall. I went to a writing retreat, which was really cool. There was 7 women and we did writing all day, every day. And then one day we went to a horse stable and got to stand in the middle of a herd of horses. And they told us all the different things about them, how they're intuitive, which I didn't know. And I connected with a particular horse, and that kind of gave me that urge to want to do something with a horse. And when I came home from that trip, I went to my Reiki person and I was like, I just loved the horses. And she was like, I have this woman that I want you to go see. And I went to her, and our first session, I was just brushing the horse, and all these, like, I just started crying. All these emotions just came out of me. And I wasn't expecting that. And then she got the vision from the horse, and the horse saw me floating down a river in an ice cube. And I kept trying to bang on the ice cube to like free myself, but it just kept freezing over. And I felt like that
yeah,
was a metaphor for my life in that moment, because I feel like I kept trying to figure out how to change or how to move on and set myself free. And that was it. It was like I needed to bang harder on that ice and like figure it out. But that was the moment that I was like, I need to leave this marriage, and I think everything will set me free. And when I did that is when I was set free. So it was very beautiful. And I love that you love
okay.
horses. So that's really cool. We
Yes,
were connected
yes,
on another level and meant to do this. So that's just, I also love the
yeah.
way the universe works.
I never any coincidences. Actually, my logo, which isn't on here, my company logo, Tranquil Solutions, is a horse head. And that was an inspiration that came through me after my show horse got struck by lightning. He and I were like,
Wow.
I, on a herd of 26 horses, I would come, and of course, I was so victimized during the course of my marriage. I didn't know what I didn't know back then. And I'd be crying my eyes, drop the girls at school, and I'd go to see my horse. And he would actually get up. Of course, horses are herd of animals. He would get up, raise his head, and all of a sudden he would back out. So only he would come over to me rather than the whole herd
Mm,
of 26 at the time. And he would just rest his head on my shoulder and I would sit under a tree and he would graze around me while I was just emoting all of this, oh my God, life is over kind of thing. And I felt so badly
mhm.
for him. But when he passed, I mean, he and I were he was my soulmate. in that connect. And just really, I trusted him beyond. I remember falling off of him once, and he actually fell on me once and immediately jumped up and looked at me as if to say, "Are you okay?" It was just that
Oh,
kind of connection. It was just so amazing. Thank goodness I wasn't hurt. I was really black and blue for a long time, but
oh my goodness.
having a
Yeah.
thousand
Scary.
yeah, but he was so protective of me as well. It was just an amazing. We had such a great synchronicity, and I never thought in a million years that my second horse would get struck by lightning. And he's recovered, I would say 99% when he's in the stall. He has that depth perception where he'll turn his head, cock his head a little to sort of tune in, but basically he's still very intuitive, very people came near and far. They called him the miracle horse when I was living in the Orlando
Wow.
area. It was amazing, amazing connect. So yeah, horses are, but I
They're the
did
real
my,
deal.
I created my
Oh,
whole logo around that real deal because, I wanted the lightning strike and that logo ended up becoming a whole thing around integrity because I couldn't find anybody to articulate it in such a way. And the person I hired plagiarized somebody else's. And then when I called him out on it and found the artist said to me, Karen, thank you for sharing with me. And this is my gift to you. Because I had asked him, how much do you want for this artwork? He was like, this is my gift to you. Zhongtu was his name. And he's out of Indonesia. Amazing work. Oh my God. So
wow.
very, talk about manifestation, right? My whole life
Mm,
is revolving around that. So. But
that's amazing.
forgive me, I need to go off on that, but that was like, that warms my heart, needless to say. So you have something for our listening audience. What might that be?
Yes, a manifestation ritual and a guide on what to do and how to hone in on your manifestations and kind of write them down and journal about it and figure out what you want next in your life. So I'm excited to share that with the listeners and be able to help them because I feel like a lot of people want to manifest, but they don't know how to. So this is kind of a little how-to guide on being able to do that.
Love that. And that's going to be on your
Yeah.
website, is that correct?
Yes, it's actually right when you go click on the website, it pops up in a little box and you just put your email in and you can get the manifestation ritual.
Beautiful. And go ahead, give
Yeah.
yourself a plug. What's the name of it's going to be the show notes, but go ahead and say,
Yes,
for
it's www.intuitionkicks.com. And if you want to follow us on Instagram, I'm always posting fun things. It's intuition_kicks. So feel free. I'd
love
love
it.
to connect.
Love
Message me. I'd love to hear your intuition stories. And I'd love to. That's my whole brand is really, I know it's a sneaker brand, but I really want to connect with other women and share stories and be there for each other and create relationships. So please
love
feel free to
that.
reach out. Yes.
And
Yeah.
all the links, and everything will be in the show notes for sure.
Okay.
Before we part, Samantha, I like to call them pearls of wisdom. What is one pearl that you would like to leave the listening audience with that will inspire them moving forward in their own journeys?
Let's see. I would say trust your intuition, step into discomfort, and never settle for anything less than what makes you happy.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Samantha. It was such a pleasure having you on
Thank you.
today.
I'm so happy to meet you and to be able to connect. It was wonderful.
Yeah, it's truly, I'm just so inspired. I can't wait to go to the website and look at your sneakers after this.
Yes,
Uh,
yes.
but thank you
And
for
when I come
sharing
to
that journey.
Florida, we need to connect.
Absolutely,
Yes,
absolutely.
would
I
love
always
that.
people down right now. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I do want to remind everybody that stories like Samantha's is that's where the transformation begins. The moment you become aware and when you continue to be brave and take those badassy steps and we choose to take, right? It's not in order to, it's a choice. And it's really gets down to a decision, the decision you make to move forward. So For the listening audience, remember the bridge from ordinary to extraordinary is built with small steps of change and big leaps of faith. So you are more powerful than you know. Keep showing up, keep rising, and keep awakening your potential. If today's episode sparked something inside of you, let's connect. Let's explore what's possible together. Write in the chat below the word awaken, and we can connect and see what's possible moving forward. Till then, stay sassy, stay classy, and keep bringing your badassy self. All right, bye for now. Till next time.